Hi, this is the evaluation of the orderIT trading system for January 13th, 2021. We had 4 trades on that day. 2 were buys, 2 were short sells. First trade is FCEL. Fuel Cell Energy Incorporated. It tripped at 12 p.m. at a price of $19.11. It was a short sell. It closed the day at $19.14, so it closed up a little bit. And you can see early morning here, it's actually down 4.91%. So the stock looks like it's somewhat in a negative direction, but look, we can see that, well, it's roughly around this time is when it came down. It came up, but you can see it's moving sideways after it tripped. But just an aspect is there any time where it dropped below somewhere below the tripping price? 1907, 1910, 1887, 1917, 1910, 1918, 1980. Okay. We could see there's probably at least 2 hours where it was moving below the tripping price, but it was actually moving sideways. So a very, very, very tricky trade, obviously, just because the fact of sideways movements doesn't give you a strong indication of its direction. We'll see if the indicators are showing any kind of explicit directional indication. OBV. Actually, OBV is showing that it was coming down, moved sideways in the afternoon, but down for the morning, early afternoon, so that's showing it down. MACD showed it came down, moved sideways. So MACD in the morning, it came down and moved sideways. DI is an interesting one. It's bouncing back and forth. That technically is an indication of somewhat moving sideways because it's coming down, basically staying around the same price. But the good thing is you can see the end of the day it actually was coming down, or DI was going down again and going down fairly strongly. So end of the day the stock was moving down. And the Bollinger Band somewhat is a consequence of what the indicators above are showing, which is somewhat sideways movement. It did drop from its high in the morning, it just dropped. It basically stayed down there, but there was multiple times where you could have gotten out below the tripping price. So I'm going to consider that a positive trade. Next trade is BILI. That's Bilibili Incorporated. I think that's the way you pronounce that. Tripped at 5:07 p.m. at a price of $117.25. It was a buy sell. It closed the day at 119.31, up 3.35%, and it closed the day, it's up early morning 1.25%. So this stock is doing fairly well. It's another positive trade. We'll check to see the indicators to see if they show that also. OBV, pretty much, it showed that it had an increase early afternoon and basically started moving sideways. MACD came up and actually showing that it was dropping, coming down in the afternoon. And DI came up fairly strongly early afternoon. It was up very heavily positive DI-wise, and you can see it came down, moved negative sideways. So up in the morning or early beginning of the day, and then down at the end of the day. The good thing is Bollinger Band shows that it did come up and just moved sideways. So while the indicators above are showing somewhat of a downward trend, Bollinger Band is actually showing that it was moving sideways. So it wasn't detrimental, for the most part moving negative. Next trade is KNDI. That's KNDI Technologies Group Incorporated. It tripped at 1:12 p.m. at a price of $8.42. It was a short sell. It closed the day at $8.42, down 5.18%. So it closed where it tripped. And let's see, it tripped at 1:30, so it tripped around here, 8:39, 41, 49, 39, 36, came up, 42. It was pretty much down below tripping price for a good portion of the afternoon, so that's another positive trade. All kinds of time to get out on that one. Let's see if the indicators are showing it moving negative on a general aspect. OBV showing, yes, it was coming down, making a bit of a recovery in the afternoon. MACD down, and MACD was showing it was somewhat down for, from when it was monitoring, which was early afternoon to mid-afternoon, and then that's where that recovery. So afternoon it was actually making a recovery. DI showing very strongly negative movement in the afternoon. So this stock is showing DI-wise, directional index, is showing heavily negative movement. And you can see the end of the day it was, again, making a bit of recovery, but DI is actually showing that it was moving negative again at closing. And Bollinger Band, yeah, just showing that it moved down and made that little bit of recovery which we saw in the afternoon. So the result is this stock was moving down with a little bit of recovery at the end of the day, but not so much that it came above the tripping price. Next trade is EYES, Secondary Site Medical Products Incorporated. Tripped at 251.36 at a price of 185. It was a buy trade. It closed the day at 182, so below its tripping price, but it was up 11.66%, so we can see that was a very good day. Let's see, 136 to 15. That. You see this, it had a spike here, and basically maintained that. Came up, the afternoon it was up pretty much, or let's say after its tripping price. So late afternoon it was pretty much up above its tripping price for a good period of time. So that to me is another positive trade. We'll check to see if the indicators are showing that. Excuse me. OBV, you can see where it was spiking at the at that point where you saw that spike on the price activity, which is OBV is showing that aspect of volume for that period of time shot right up, but pretty much kept its level before that spike. MACD again showing somewhat again that spike and then that drop. DI showing that spike, and that was a very, very strong positive. And you see, actually, even though it came down, it was actually indicator-wise. DI was showing a positive. Bollinger Band, the chart is not graphed accordingly, but you can see that spike here caused the movement upwards. So, in general, that was a good stock to trade. It was moving very positive stock. So that is actually four stocks that are potentially positive, so that's 100%. You can't ask for a better day than that. I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much.